Buenas noches. ¿Cómo estamos? Having a good night here in Miami? And you got the best weather. Hi, good evening. I'm Lilian Lopez. I'm the CEO of the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They call me Lili. So bienvenidos. Welcome to Miami, a beautiful city, and I hope you enjoy the night. And I want to welcome you to this beautiful Miami-Dade County of ours. We have over 3 million people that live in the Miami-Dade County area. There's 70% of them are Hispanics. We have 14% African Americans, so we are very rich in diversity. And you know that yesterday I had a big chamber luncheon. I don't like to be scripted when they give me notes. And I told a friend of mine who also coincidentally is in healthcare, it's from Cigna, and I told her, tomorrow I have to do a welcoming, and it's just 2 minutes. And she said, Lily, you 2 minutes? Oh my gosh, that's gonna be difficult because you talk so much. But I'm so happy to be here with all of you and congratulate you on all of your successes and achievements, having been around for 70 years and everything that you have done. Welcome to Miami-Dade County. We're rich in architecture, Art Deco in Miami Beach. We have people from all over. This is a very, very multicultural city with lots of restaurants. You find people from Peru, from Argentina, from Cuba, Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Nicaraguans, and everything is just so very different. And I hope you all welcome you enjoy your stay here. And what's not to love about Miami, right? You're loving it, right? You having a good time? So thank you so much for having me. And on behalf of my chairman of the board, my board of directors of the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we've been around for 25 years, I welcome you to the Magic City. And as I call it, La Capital del Mundo. Welcome.
And now, please welcome tonight's gala host, Mickey Taylor.
Thank you. Good evening. That's good. Welcome to National Medical Fellowship's inaugural national hybrid event, Reimagining Health Care, celebrating equity change agents. I'm Mickey Taylor, as you've heard, and it's my great pleasure to be with you tonight as host for this evening of purpose. A special thank you to Lilian Lopez for that wonderful Miami welcome. Yes, yes? Yeah. Oh, you all are so very sophisticated tonight, but you're going to really learn how to have a great time. We have some amazing surprises during this evening's program, so please get comfortable, whether you're joining us virtually or here in Miami at the gorgeous Frost Museum. But before we begin, we're going to do the honors of pausing for a moment of grace and an opening prayer. Won't you please welcome Dr. Laura Hargrove.
I know that we are already indulging in our salads, so we don't want to choke on our food. So let us take a moment to ask for God's blessings on us tonight. Creator, Redeemer, Sustainer God, before there was a civil movement, there was a movement on the heart of one that you touched to start this organization, Dr. Franklin McLean. You touched him to see the inequities that existed for African American doctors. You touched him to want to do something about what he was seeing. A problem not just for those of us who are of African descent, but for an entire nation. And so we come with hearts of thanksgiving on tonight for what has evolved into a major organization helping hundreds of doctors and doctors-to-be. A trailblazing organization that we look to with gratitude on tonight. An organization that understands the need for health equity in every single facet of health care. And so we come asking, oh God, that you would bless National Medical Fellowships in their work as they continue to move forward, that you would do what you say in your word, that you would give the supply that we need so that we can show forth your light, your grace, and your glory. And in this season of Thanksgiving, we thank you for the food that we are already receiving, that which we shall receive, and for the fellowship that we will be in the midst of tonight, that will touch hearts, that will touch minds, that will touch spirits for the greater good. This we pray in the name of the one who was and is to come. And all of God's children together will say, amen.
Thank you, Dr. Hargrove, for echoing the thoughts of our heart, the gratitude of our spirits in that beautiful prayer. Tonight, we celebrate those who, by their very contributions, are walking in the dreams of our ancestors and mastering their purpose with distinction. Joining us now are two such change agents whose lives demonstrate what it means to achieve the seemingly impossible. Dr. Sandra B. Nichols is an esteemed and highly reputable physician. During a global pandemic, she took it upon herself to carry NMF through a time of transition and growth. A former health commissioner of Arkansas, Dr. Nichols is now the Senior Vice President of Health Inclusion and Community Engagement for United Health Group. Now, Micheline Davis, Esquire, is a nationally ranked, globally regarded health equity expert. Among other accolades, she is named one of the Modern Healthcare magazine's top 25 most influential minority leaders in healthcare, and one of Becker's Hospital Review's top great leaders in healthcare in 2020, 2021, and yes, 2022. And then again, she's a top 50 African American to know in healthcare, and the National Association of Health Services Executives awarded her their 2021 Senior Healthcare Executive Award. I would definitely say she's a boss. Won't you please join me in welcoming NMF's board chair, the Honorable Dr. Sandra B. Nichols, and President and CEO of NMF, Micheline Davis, Esquire.
Good evening. You do not sound like you are here tonight after the dance performance that just almost had me fall out of my chair. Good evening. We are here because this, my friends, is a celebration. It is a celebration of change. It is a celebration that expresses the gratitude that we have for those of you who have stood shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, hand in hand with us, as we have literally picked up the heavy needle of health equity and moved it up the steep hill of structural and systemic racism. So when we say good evening one to another, I want you to greet one another as if these are family members that you just haven't seen before. You know the kind, when you show up at the family reunion and, well, quite frankly, you actually look at each other and once in a while you say, well, he's kind of cute. And someone has to tell you that is your cousin's, sister's, brother's friend. So I'm going to do it one more time because I want to make certain that you understand that you are here with individuals who know that it is not robbery to part the seas in order to advance health equity for our communities. Good evening. All right. Thank you so very much. We are delighted to have you. We are excited about the future of this organization. Welcome to this absolutely amazing opportunity to ensure that we are expressing the level of gratitude that we have one with another. At this time, I have the fortunate opportunity of welcoming to this podium the chair of the Board of National Medical Fellowships, the Honorable Dr. Sandra B. Nichols.
Good evening. I am Dr. Sandra B. Nichols, Bruce for my maiden name. I was surprised today by having my sister and my niece show up to the event. Hadn't seen them in a very long time, so if I'm a little shaky today, it's because it's so good to have family that are your family members. You don't have to worry about it being one of your cousins that you think a lot of. It is an honor and privilege to be a very proud alumni of National Medical Fellowship. I too, as many people have stated on tonight, received a scholarship from National Medical Fellowship when my husband and I didn't know where we were going to get the money from to buy a car. And believe me, we were so ecstatic by the dollars because we were truly trying to make sure that we got through medical school, that we were able to afford and not find ourselves in a situation as so many of our students today, which is owing $300,000 or more in dollars just to be able to serve people like yourselves and to serve the next generation. We as an organization exist so we can help resolve those type of issues, which truly are health inequities for our individuals. We want to have a health equity through our organization and through the power of phenomenal next generation of doctors to carry on the care for those that we love and for people that look like the people in this room. Over the past seven decades, National Medical Fellowship has served over 32,000 students with $42 million. Those need-based scholarships were urgently needed at that time, and they are urgently needed today. And so I hope you came with your pockets full. We take all pennies, nickels, dime, and dollars. And certainly we'll be happy to take hundreds of thousands if you're here to make those donations. We invite you to join National Medical Fellowship's work. We invite you to really look at where our nation is today based on what COVID and what our economy has brought to bear. It's so important to recognize that those things have magnified the fault lines in our societies. They have underscored the needs for us to work together to root out social and political determinants of health that cause devastating, yet preventable health outcomes in our communities of color. So I ask tonight that you not only stay engaged in our program, that you make sure that each and every one of you are aligned with where we want to go and become a part of this great family, because we need you as we need our future and our young adults, our kindergarten kids, the ones who aren't born, to bring about health equity. Ms. Feline, come join me back at the podium.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nichols. Under the leadership of Madam Chair and this board, we look forward to advancing our service learning and clinical trial training programs. We look forward to ensuring that we have larger scholarships to provide to our students. We look forward to literally upending the structures and the systems that have created inequity, and to working with you, each of you, along this equity journey. We look forward to dismantling structural and systemic racism in medicine in order to not merely reduce healthcare disparities, but to one day eliminate them. We thank you so much. Absolutely. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. We thank you for joining us tonight. There are some basic rules. One, you must have a very good time. Two, you must ensure that the people at your table have a ridiculously good time. And three, we ask that you take us home with you in your hearts. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Paul Viviano, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Paul has been a longtime colleague, mentor, and friend to me and to NMF. He is an NMF board member emeritus and a generous donor with a giving history of over 15 years. Paul has had significant success in the academic healthcare systems, nonprofit community healthcare organizations, and for-profit healthcare services over the past 3 decades. Under his leadership, CHLA has funded 48 NMF Primary Care Leadership Program scholars, totaling over $1 million, and has provided numerous other resources in support of NMF's mission. To have the opportunity to make a deep impact on the lives of bright and ambitious students, our future healthcare leaders, is why CHLA continues to support NMF today. Paul always keeps Children's Hospital of Los Angeles' vision, value, and mission at the forefront of every decision to be made and every action we take. On behalf of National Medical Fellowships, I am very proud to present NMF's Visionary Award to Mr. Paul Viviano.
On behalf of Children's Hospital Los Angeles, our team members and supporters, it is an honor to be recognized among so many leaders and difference makers, all of whom are committed to championing diversity, equity, and inclusion across the spectrum of healthcare. NMF's mission and vision have never been more crucial than today. The COVID-19 pandemic has shone a spotlight on the systemic racism, injustice, and underrepresentation in our industry, and especially among leaders in medicine. We salute and support the work of CEO Micheline Davis and the entire NMF board. Addressing biases in healthcare is why organizations like NMF are so vital. CHLA's recognition by NMF is an acknowledgement of our stellar organization with its century-long legacy of commitment to every community we serve. I am proud to be part of a hospital that has heard the clarion call and taken action to break cycles of inequity. At Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we affirm our commitment to equality, opportunity, and respect for everyone who comes through our doors. As the Safety Net Children's Hospital for all of Southern California, we welcome and care for all, regardless of financial class or immigration status. And as we deepen our commitment with every day and each step forward, we are confident that the work we are doing in support of diversity, equity, and inclusion in healthcare will resonate now and into the future. I am proud that our courageous and compassionate team is willing to embrace difficult conversations. I am even more proud they are willing to listen, learn, and enact meaningful change to overturn long-standing institutional biases. Thank you again to NMF, as well as to all of you who are here tonight supporting its stellar and transformative work. Together, we can all play the crucial role of eliminating the healthcare disparities of today and cultivating the healthcare providers and leaders of tomorrow.
Celebrating more than 75 years, NMF has achieved many milestones. See how far NMF has come.
National Medical Fellowships, Inc. is a nonprofit organization with a storied history that began in 1946. Founded in Chicago by Dr. Franklin McLean, NMF was born as a precursor to the Civil Rights Movement, a time that resonates as we continue to fight for our rights today. Dr. McLean sought to increase the number of Black and brown physicians then, and our mission has grown ever stronger over the ensuing decades. Our scholars and alumni are at the core of the work that we do. The scholarships, programs, and resources that NMF provides support our Black, Latine, Indigenous, people of color community by creating the next generation of doctors, nurses, surgeons, clinical trialists, behavioral health professionals, thought leaders, and change agents who are fighting to disrupt racism in medicine to achieve lasting health equity. With your help, we aren't just diversifying the providers of healthcare, we are reimagining healthcare.
Hello, National Medical Fellowships. I am so grateful you all are convening for this first annual gala. And Micheline Davis, you know I love you. You know I have such respect for you. You are one of those light workers in this world, and I'm grateful especially now for your leadership. This organization is critical for us to begin to deal with a lot of the racial inequities we still see in the medical world. It is trying to bridge the gap, expand the pipeline, and truly make us the nation who we say we are, an inclusive, multicultural democracy where we see the beauty and the wonder and the strength of our country in every sector. Thank you for your important work. Thank you for your great focus. And I am grateful to consider myself one of the partners of yours in this mission. All the best and congratulations.
What a phenomenal organization we celebrate tonight. As we just saw, National Medical Fellowships has a storied history and a very bright future. And we want you to help us continue this mission by texting NMF Miami to 41444. Now, I didn't see you put anything in your phone, so I'm going to say that again. We want you to continue this mission, and this is the critical work, and you have an opportunity to do it right where you are right now. So we want you to text NMF Miami to 41444. Did everyone get that? Oh gosh, you guys just failed the class. Did everyone get that? Yeah, that's better, that's better. We also want you to be sure to stop by the wall there where it says our agenda is bold, celebrating the 75-year history of NMF. Please be sure and stop by and see the work that has been done. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome NMF's President and CEO to share with you the organization's strategic framework that lays out a bold and daring agenda to dismantle the systemic and structural racism woven into medicine. Did you hear what I just said? Woven into medicine, behavioral health care, and education. Won't you please welcome back the amazing Micheline Davis.
Thank you so very much, Mickey. You just heard Ms. Taylor describe the fact that NMF's history is indeed a proud one. It is a storied one, which quite frankly, those of you who are in this room and those who are watching from home helped us to knit together. We are being intentional in our efforts, now all the more. Last year, upon joining NMF as president and CEO, I had the fortunate opportunity to meet with 250 of you, interested parties and stakeholders, and with your commentary, we developed data in order to build our new strategic framework. We spent this past year working to ensure that we were reinforcing and restructuring our organization. We created our strategic direction and laid it out in our strategic framework so that you too would have an opportunity to join us along that journey. We worked to upskill our management team with new talent. We reauthored our board's bylaws, introduced term limits, best practices in governance, enhanced our legal and financial processes, reinforced our risk management and compliance efforts. We raised our external profile and created a new internal culture of inclusion and belonging. We have secured over $15 million in restricted and unrestricted funds alone. Please. We have launched a global advisory council, and we have even welcomed brand new members to the board. Please give them a round of applause. We have been busy, and we are not nearly done yet. The very core of our mission has been to ensure that we support clinicians from the very communities that have to carry the heaviest burden of structural inequity. So our approach has been to boldly advance health equity at the intersection of the health-wealth gap, to foster a new generation of diverse, equity-minded, social justice-centered healthcare leadership. We are different now. By our efforts around workforce development, we create opportunities for students of color to enter the healthcare field, and then we mentor them throughout their educational and career journeys to ensure that they become the hope and the dream of their ancestors. The culturally competent, compassionate caregivers, you know, the ones that you wish that you had known when you were growing up. The very ones that our communities deserve so very much. So as we've worked to create a collaborative 7-pillar strategic framework, we are driving innovation throughout healthcare in that effort. These pillars are interconnected, and it is my hope tonight that you will somehow see yourselves in at least one of these pillars along the way. In our first pillar, we aim to build an endowment for a sustainable future. We are in our 76th year, yes, and yet our endowment, essential for our sustainability, ladies and gentlemen, is less than $1 million, and that, my friends, is unacceptable. So we share that with you because you are our friends and our family, and we know that you too will pick up arms in order to help us accept it. We are embarking on a campaign to raise a minimum of $25 million. And when I said that to some of the new members of my board, they said, well, really, it's your 75th anniversary, so it should be a minimum of $75 million. We are advancing NMF's rightful position as a thought leader. NMF is a unique organization. It is not one that merely sprung up over the last 2 years as the rest of the world began to recognize racial injustice. Rather, it is the one that has been toiling in the fields for the last 76 years doing the work. And we have been silent. It is time for us to be a hidden figure no more. We are engaging in impactful policy partnerships. We collaborate with other like-minded policy organizations to advance programs and policies in both the private and the public sectors to eliminate health disparities. Every employer in this country has a vested interest and stake in health equity, whether they understand that or not. So we seek to have multi-sector, other industry collaborations. We together will diversify clinical research. We recognize that communities harmed by inequity and mistreatment have justifiable, well-earned mistrust of healthcare, and that their trust must be respectfully earned. We therefore encourage clinicians of color to become certified to lead clinical research and provide them with training and mentorship and experience needed to not just be a part of, but to lead and diversify clinical research, and then, my friends, to center community voice. NMF is that organization, that one that our organizations and our communities have needed all of this time. So in addition to that, we will launch a robust mentorship network. We understand that what is so incredibly important about NMF is not just that we provide financial support. It is not just that we provide training. It is also the fact that we provide community. So to all of our NMF scholars and our alumni, welcome home. We are that safe place for you. We will stand with you and serve beside you every single step of the way. You are never alone. We will enhance our focus to include behavioral health and well-being. We recognize that racial trauma harms our community and that racial trauma-informed care is needed. So we shall work to increase the number of clinicians of color who are underrepresented in medicine, not because they haven't had the talent, but because they haven't had the opportunity. Yeah. And we will ensure that now that there is such a high demand in our communities that we will ensure that there is a robust supply. We will also stand up racial-informed trauma supports. And even now have launched an active listen and learn session with our alumni across the country in partnership with the Association of Black Psychologists. We are here for you. Finally, we will develop a strong and comprehensive student pathway. We raise up our alumni and celebrate their stories of what is possible with students long before they enter medical school. In partnership with established programs with demonstrated track records of success in STEM programming in K through 12 and undergraduate students, we will raise awareness and empower students of color from those communities that are carrying, yes, that heavy burden, to consider a career in healthcare and to change the game for the communities that they come from. These pillars are intricately interconnected and designed to move us forward together. I am so grateful to each one of you who is with us on this journey, and I implore those of you who have not yet decided to partner up to do so now. You don't have to wait in line. You can join us straight away. Tonight is our official launch of this new strategic framework, and we are delighted to be able to invite you to partner with us. Thank you so very much for your incredible time.
Being part of National Medical Fellowships is very inspiring because I have been able to connect with other medical students and physicians that share a similar mission as I do in decreasing health disparities and improving health outcomes for all.
The tentacles or the reach of the National Medical Fellowships was so wide-reaching, and I'm just really feel grateful.
It's not just a scholarship, it's not just a resume line, it's really a comprehensive, thoughtful program.
We did about 6 weeks of work out in Boston is where I was placed. And so we had the opportunity to work in a federally qualified health center.
It actually helped me to get started and to finance part of my schooling.
Receiving this scholarship, it really validated my hopes to become a Latina orthopedic surgeon. I hope to pay forward by, in the future, inspiring students like me who are from similar backgrounds and who do benefit from NMF.
Oh yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Hill Harper, and yes, I'm about to say it. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. A staple of American history, NMF was founded in 1946 as a precursor to the Civil Rights Movement and has worked to provide scholarships to grow the number of Black and brown physicians in the United States. Notably, NMF has provided over $45 million in financial assistance to more than 32,000 talented Black, Indigenous, Latino, and people of color medical students. NMF asserts, and experts agree, that a very effective way to eliminate healthcare disparities is to increase the number of physicians from diverse backgrounds who can provide culturally competent care to the medically underserved communities. Now, my family's medical background and work around health equity speaks to that as well. I am named after my grandfather, Dr. Harold Hill from Seneca, South Carolina, who had Piedmont Pharmacy, a small, independent pharmacy in Seneca, which served the Black community all through Jim Crow segregation and beyond. When folks couldn't go to Rexall or Walgreens, they went to Piedmont Pharmacy. And I saw, even after the end of Jim Crow, my grandfather letting people come in with sacks of potatoes or chickens and trade for pharmaceuticals that they needed if they couldn't afford to pay for them. On my father's side, my grandfather Dr. Harry D. Harper Sr. was a physician who went to Howard. Oh, by the way, Doc Hill went to Meharry College of Medicine. Shout out to Meharry. And my grandfather, my father's side, went to Howard Medical School. And he was a family practitioner, again, in another small town in Iowa. And what I want to talk about is also my parents. They were physicians. My mom was a trailblazer, one of the first African-American females to become an anesthesiologist in the world. And my father also went to Howard Medical School, and that's where they met. So, but for medicine, I wouldn't even be alive. And now they see me playing a doctor, and of course they're very proud, I'm sure. So listen, NMS work speaks to all of this. Its work is more urgent than ever. Communities of color in this country bear the unjust burden of preventable health disparities and lack of access to equitable health care that is costing people their lives. By creating a diverse healthcare workforce that is laser focused on eliminating health disparities, NMF, its scholars, and its alumni are making health justice a reality. Thank you, NMF. To the scholars who are brilliantly changing the face and systems of healthcare, keep persevering. The world needs you. Now, in both of my books, Letters to a Young Sister and Letters to a Young Brother, I talk about the importance of having dreams and goals and pursuing it persistently. My dedication to youth through my Manifest Your Destiny Foundation certainly aligns with NMS mission and to why it's so important to support the National Medical Fellowship. When I think about how important all of our legacy organizations are for supporting youth, for helping them dream, have a goal, and blueprint it out, and then providing resources to achieve it. NMS work is so important, and that's why it's incumbent upon us to support it. Congratulations, National Medical Fellowships. Keep up the great work, and thank you for all you do towards making the world a more equitable place. And we want to talk about the context of this important work. NMS work includes closing the health and wealth gap, educational equity, workforce development, elimination of healthcare disparities. I mean, come on, maternal mortality is lessened when we have practitioners who share cultural backgrounds. That's real, y'all. The urgency of now regarding our investment in NMF is critical. The investment in our communities, our youth, and our tomorrow. I mean, come on, COVID decimated our communities and caused us to lose an entire generation of BIPOC physicians. We need this work. I love NMS strategic framework, and NMF is doubling down on its historic mission to provide scholarships and to support students underrepresented in medicine. We believe nothing should stand in the way of aspiring BIPOC clinical leaders in their quest to achieve health equity. My grandparents did it, my parents did it. And don't hate me because I'm the president of a hospital, San Jose St. Bonaventure. And I'm a great, if not the greatest surgeon in the country, Dr. Marcus Andrews. Even though it's all pretend, it can be a reality for someone that NMF helps. That's the key, y'all. We have to support NMF and its mission. And congratulations. This is a celebration, but it's also a call to action. God bless you all. And let's go for NMF. Thanks so much.
Yes, Hill Harper, let's go. Thank you. Now, the word is to give honor to whom honor is due. And tonight, we'd like to take a moment to recognize and to say thank you to our Gala host committee. Won't you please show your love for Beverly Baker Jackson, Esquire. Yes. Melissa L. Bradley. Dennis S. Charney, MD. Doctors Ludlow and Ruth Crary. Aisha Glover, Larry Harrison, D.C. Marshall, yes, Wayne J. Riley, MD. You can learn more about these accomplished host committee members in your Gala program. We also want to give a big shout out and thank you to the NMF is what I'm trying to say, Board of Directors, our outstanding awardees receiving distinguished recognition tonight, our partners, our alumni, our NMF ambassadors, and our exceptional scholars. You may read more about each of these distinguished individuals on our website. Now, our next presenters are the embodiment of what happens when vision, determination, and preparation meet in the fight to advance health equity. Please join me in welcoming the Executive Vice President and Chief Medical Officer of United Health Group, Dr. Margaret Mary Wilson, and NMF Board Chair, the Honorable Sandra B. Nichols.
I am so very honored and pleased to invite to the stage an exceptional, remarkable leader. Dr. Margaret Mary Wilson is the Chief Medical Officer of United Health Group. That's the top 5 company in the country. She is the first Black woman and is doing a phenomenal job. And I'm just honored to introduce you to my boss, Dr. Margaret Mary Wilson.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm Dr. Margaret Mary Wilson, and this evening it's truly my honor to present the next Distinguished Recognition Award to Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice. Dr. Montgomery Rice is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Morehouse School of Medicine. She is their 6th president and the first woman to lead the storied freestanding medical institution. Dr. Montgomery Rice provides an extremely valuable and rare combination of experience at the highest levels of patient care and medical research, as well as organizational management and public health policy. And on a personal note, I would like to seize this opportunity to thank Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice, to thank you for your leadership, your visibility, and your clinical excellence, because you stand as a guiding beacon to many people, men, women, especially women, and me.
As the chair of the board, I would like to recognize Dr. Montgomery Rice as the most phenomenal leader of the last 25 years. Now, those of you who know Dr. Wright would say she's been the most phenomenal year since her birth. I'm only saying you're 25 years old, Dr. Wright. She has had remarkable career achievement and commitments to health equity firmly for many, many years, and has been a chief leader in the mission in the fight for National Medical Fellowship. The National Medical Fellowship National Achievement Lifetime Achievement Award honors a National Medical Fellow alumni who exemplifies the NMF tradition of excellence and has achieved outstanding distinction in their life's work in professional, public, and humanitarian service. The award recognizes an alumni who has long-standing champions of marginalized communities and who have a deep commitment to health equity and diversity in healthcare, and who has dedicated their life work internationally to achieve the elimination of healthcare and disparity. As we all know, behind every great leader is a great spouse, significant other. So I'm going to ask not only Dr. Rice's husband, but every spouse of every, including Dr. Margaret Mary Wilson's, but every spouse of every board member, every leader that's in the room, to please stand as we receive this exceptional, remarkable, phenomenal leader, Dr. Montgomery Rice.
Thank you so much, Margaret and Sandra and Micheline and the board of the National Medical Fellowship. Thank you so much for this honor. I know I accept it not just for myself, but for all the alums who have been able to benefit from what NFF has provided. In 1986, when I was a third-year medical student, I came to Harvard Medical School thinking I would be a neurosurgeon. I did all the things that one needed to do to go into neurosurgery. I was a TA, about to become a TA for the anatomy course, etc. And then I did my last rotation, OBGYN. Now, I had no intention on birthing anybody's babies. But I ran across a couple of people who made a difference. I ran across Dr. Isaac Schiff, who was a reproductive endocrinologist and fertility specialist. And I said, you know, I liked his bedside manner. I liked the surgeries that were attached to REI. And I thought if I could do in vitro fertilization and reproductive surgeries, then maybe I could birth some babies on the side. But you know, there were only 20 slots in the country to do REI fellowships at that time. And so my advisor, Dr. Schiff, said, well, you probably want to make your application more competitive. Now, we're talking about for the fellowship, not for the residency. And so I went to a person that he recommended, Dr. Ann Kiesling, who is still my mentor today. And I said, Dr. Kiesling, I'm Valerie Montgomery. I'm a third-year medical student at Harvard Medical School. And she said, yes. And I said, I need to do some research. And she said, well, how much time do you have? And I said, 2 weeks. And she said, come back when you're serious. And that went on for 3 to 4 times, guys. And it wasn't until I got my National Medical Fellowship Commonwealth Award, $5,000, that I was able to go to her, empowered with something that was more than just time, but dollars to fund my research, and ended up spending my entire 4th year of medical school doing basic science research. That laid the foundation, though, for my academic career. That laid the foundation for me to be the president and CEO of Morehouse School of Medicine. That laid the foundation for me to understand how important it is to diversify clinical trials. That laid the foundation for me to understand that the genome cannot develop precision medicine if only 2.4% of the people who contributed to the genome of African ancestry. That laid the foundation for me to understand that it's more than just about cultural competence, it's about cultural humility. And that's what we do at Morehouse School of Medicine. We lead the creation and advancement of health equity. And so I am so excited to accept this award. I know that education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world, and I know that we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. They could not have imagined who we would become. So I ask that you continue to support NMF and look at what they offer and look at what they produce. Thank you.
Show your love for Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice. One in a million. Dr. Rice, we thank you for the trails you have blazed and for the future, the gifts that you are giving to the future. We thank you for shaping the future of health and wellness for all. Now we turn to another inspiration. Recent NMF alumnus, Dr. Russell Leday, who is famous for his from hospital security guard to triple match doctor. Dr. Leday earned his PhD in molecular oncology and tumor immunology, from NYU School of Medicine, graduated from Tulane School of Medicine this May, in fact, and simultaneously earned his MBA. He was recently the only Black man to be accepted as a triple board resident. After this video, please help me welcome, with well-deserved love, Dr. Russell Leday.
Growing up, we were poor. My mom did the very best she could. She was making just a tad bit over minimum wage, raising 2 kids on her own. It got to the point where we were digging in the dumpster for dinner. By the time I ended up graduating from high school, I was trying to figure out, where am I gonna go? I didn't know how to apply to college. It was kind of like, what can I do with my life? So while I was in high school, I was in this Navy program, and I was like, this is an opportunity for me to get food, a place to stay, money, and get away from here. I'm taking it. So I graduated from high school and decided the Navy was the right route for me. After I finished up my first 5 years of active duty, my wife looked at me and said, look, you're smart enough to go to college, and you need to go to college. So while studying chemistry and biology, I also had to make ends meet. I got a job as a security guard at a local hospital. I loved being in the ER because it moved so fast. So of course I started asking people to shadow, and I got a whole lot of no's, but I did get one yes. I was actually in the emergency room standing outside, and there was this guy who came in, long white coat on, and I was walking with him, and I looked down at his coat and I saw surgeon. I was like, so you think I can shadow you? He was like, yes, yeah, man, you can shadow me. I essentially worked at the hospital until midnight, stayed over until in the morning, went into the OR that next day. And we were in the OR with this world-renowned cancer surgeon. I walked into this OR, and it was a Black surgeon. It blew my mind. And after the surgery, he sat down and talked to me and everything. And that was the first time someone had just like told me like, yeah, you can be a physician too. So fast forward 10 years later, I still have a badge, but this one doesn't say security guard. It says something a little bit different.
Good evening. Come on now, we family. Good evening. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So oftentimes, people don't know how their decisions affect people's lives. Case in point, I'm standing in front of all of you today to discuss the impact of NMF on my life. And I'm not entirely sure the people who selected me for the United Health Foundation Diverse Scholars Fellowship knew the impact it would make. So thank you, United Health. Thank you. So about a year and a half ago, one of my closest friends, he's like a brother, Dr. Michael Okonroko, he approached me about this idea of having hospital rounds, not only in the hospital, but in our hood, like where we from. And I was like, bruh, how does that make sense? Like, what we gonna talk about medicine with people who don't understand medicine? He was like, nah, man, we could take our life experiences and all the medicine we know and the things we understand about mental health and go have conversations on the blocks where we're from. Like in the highest gun violence areas in New Orleans. And we could change the game. Because these kids never seen people who look like us with white coats on, but talking to them about things that they can relate with. So the next thing I told him was, yo, we don't have money to do this, and it sounds amazing, but where we gonna get the bread from? And he said, yo, that part I don't know, but you figure it out and get back to me. No problem. So The work included providing physical activity in the form of basketball and football, along with strength-based interventions to kids from some of the highest gun violence zip codes in New Orleans. So I stumbled upon this fellowship from the NMF that would allow us to do this exact work in the community that we grew up in. So this is like major. This is like being a hood hero. Now let me stop here and be candid with you. This work is so unique and it's outside the common scope of medicine that I thought it was a long shot to even get funded. But national medical fellowships though. National medical fellowships though. I need y'all to understand something. National medical fellowships is like, yo, we gonna give you the money. We'll let you do it. So we applied for this unique scholarship that also provided us with guidance in how to get institutional review board approval, funding, and people willing to help us guide us through this project. And we got to do it in our own community. Ultimately, we were able to publish 2 amazing papers about the importance of strength-based interventions, along with a paper specifically talking about the importance of a physician-to-patient cultural accordance within the hospital setting of a young Black man who was getting ready to commit suicide, but was also an NFL prospect. And how that work alone, the physician-patient cultural discordance work alone, helped to break down mental barriers to treatment, specifically with regards to mental illness. What I want to share with you about how this funding empowered us to do this, to expand this work into a nonprofit, is that continuing to make these improvements in the community that I so dearly love in New Orleans is continuing now. Like New Orleans recreational department picked it up because they understood the impact of it. But that started home, like that started here. You see, when you give to NMF, you have no idea the people you're helping. You have no idea. Most of y'all don't have no idea where I came from. I was digging in dumpsters for dinner. So when NMF gave me the scholarship to do this work, it hit different. Because there's kids in my community digging in the same dumpsters I was. I'm a 10-year United States Navy veteran right now. I'm a dual degree Southern University trained. Hold on, I'm not done, because there's more flexing to do. I'm a 10-year United States Navy veteran. I'm a dual degree Southern University, shout out to the HBCUs, trained college graduate. I'm a Howard Hughes funded NYU trained PhD scientist. I'm a graduating Tulane trained physician. I'm also a businessman with a nonprofit over $500,000. I'm the co-founder of a nationally recognized nonprofit organization, and I'm an NMF scholar. That's what you're donating to. Like, that's what you're donating to. You're not donating to like some great idea. Now you're donating to humans with souls, real people who making a difference in this world. That's what you're donating to. That's what I need for you to understand. When you open your wallet, you're not donating to an idea. You're donating to real people like me. I'm also a happily married husband of 17 years. And I'm a grateful father of 2 beautiful queens, Malia and Melina. Yet there's more to this story. I've digged in the dumpsters behind Sam's Club in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I've lighted candles because our lights were off. You are essentially funding the dreams of someone who fought for everything they ever had. And now I want to make a difference in the next generation. Your generosity goes farther than you could possibly imagine. It's not just about the money, man. It's about the impact. And let me confidently say that your giving made a monumental and lasting impact for me personally and for the city of New Orleans. Please don't let up now. Like, this is not the time for you to let up. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your continued support of the great organization that is called the National Medical Fellowships. So now I'm honored to bring up my big brother and the Fund the Mission host, a 5-time Emmy Award-winning newscaster, Calvin Hughes, a news anchor for WPLG Local 10's newscast. For 16 years, Calvin Hughes has informed viewers about the major stories in South Florida, the exclusive, the historical, the live news, breaking moments. He has covered are impressive and unforgettable. Please help me to welcome Mr. Calvin Hughes.
Is he not special? Let's give him a big round of applause. Absolutely. I know who I want to be when I grow up. My goodness. So you heard that, yes, I am a newscaster. I've been in Miami for just over 16 years. And so based on that, I have breaking news tonight. Our goal is to try, I said 1 million. We were talking privately. He said, our goal tonight is $2 million. I said, brother, that's big. He said, go big or go home. Some of you already knew what to say. All right, so this is the Fund the Mission part of our program, and you know something? I know where the money is. Dr. Lede, they even colored the table, so what he did not mention is that I am part provocateur. So I'm looking at table 8, because table 9 said they're going to outbid table 8. Table 5, they said you have nothing because table 1 is going to outbid you and it's going to pledge more. And then there's table 20 because table 18 said, I got more money than you have. So we have a little something going on in here. And I'm ready. So we're going to start in honor of even though it's the 76th year, we're going to start at 75,000, I'm sorry. I was... Ms. Davis, I was going off of what you said, 75 million. Please forgive me. I know we have 75 million in the room, but we're going to start at $75,000. Where do I see my $75,000? Now, I hear someone clapping, so someone is giving 75. If you move, you're giving $75,000. Don't get up and go to the bathroom. I'm telling you right now. You are given 75. We have a governor in the house. I used to cover him in Philadelphia, Governor Corzine. I know you worked on Wall Street. Come on, Governor.
I think sometimes we underestimate the impact of making these donations. Like, it just sounds like a cool thing to do, right? It's like the next thing to do. But yo, I'm reality. Joel is reality. It's a bunch of realities in the room. Like, we real people. When I walk into a patient's room, one of the first things I think about is, yo, who helped me to get here? Who were my ancestors who were willing to open their pockets and help me? That's y'all. That's y'all in this room. So now we asking y'all to actually do it again, which honestly for each of y'all is probably not that hard. So do what you always been doing, because that's who you are. Like, you believe in the next generation. We the next generation.
Yes. There are pledge cards on the table that I would like for you to take a look at and possibly fill out as well. But if anyone is willing to say, I'm going to step up and give the $75,000 and be one of the donors, we would love for you to raise your hand and let us know so we can recognize you. Also online, we have some online givers as well. NMF Miami. You can text 41444. NMF Miami, text NMF Miami to 41444. All right, I'm going down to 50, but I see some 70. Some of y'all look like y'all just dressed like you $75,000. Just fell out of your pocket on the way from the parking lot. I saw a hand. All right, should we go down to 50?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, let's go to 50. Oh, I see. Do you have somebody at 50? Yes. Oh, we do. Yes. Who is that?
I think it's the new president-elect for NMA.
President-elect, okay, at $50,000. Any more $50,000 givers, donors, or investors, we should say, because this is an investment that you're making.
Yeah.
You're investing in someone who is going to be like Dr. Leday.
Just a fun fact for many of you, on average, many of us leave medical school with over $400,000 in debt. That's a lot of money. And if you take into account systemic and structural issues that we have in our country around race, you could probably figure out that that kind of money is probably not in our families, which impedes us from going back to the exact same communities that we came from to do the work we want to do anyway.
Table 14, table 11, who's going to step up? Table 6, table 9. Do I see a hand? Oh, I see a hand over here. $50,000?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Any more 50,000? Some of you all are just waiting to see what the others are going to do. Just step up and be the first one. I guarantee you it is contagious. Giving is absolutely contagious.
Just for some added context, the average household income of an NMF scholar is $45,000 a year.
We have another donor over here? We do? We don't. Okay. I'm sorry, Dr. Leday.
No, it's perfectly fine.
$25,000. $25,000 donors? We see you. Table 1. Table 20. Table 18. Oh, right there, yes.
There we go.
Governor, Senator Corzine, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else? We see you. We're going to come to you. Raise a finger, raise a hand, raise an arm. If you even have a twitch, we're going to come over to you. What about $15,000? If you're willing to give $15,000, even online, $15,000. Where are you, my $15,000 donors?
Steve Cattle, thank you so much.
Yes. Where are you? $15,000. Come on, guys. $15,000. I see you. Table 20. Table 18. Table 11. Table 14. Table 5. Where are you? Do I have to go down to 5,000? What about my $5,000 donors? If you're not sold on what, my man right here. Yes, sir, 5,000 right here.
Thank you, Dr. Keys.
Absolutely. If you're not sold on what NMF does, you're not going to be sold. Yes, 5,000. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I see 5,000 was the number. We're going to stay here for a little bit. We're going to park it right here at 5,000. My man, right over here. Oh, do I see somebody back here? I see you moving. Are you pointing? Are you trying to get other people to join you? I'm telling you, if you move a little bit, don't reach for the sea bass. If you reach for the sea bass, we're coming for you. Table 18, table 20. If one is giving at your table, I know we can get one more. Over here, this table, you all are really quiet. My goodness. Man, y'all are quiet. Come on. My man. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. See?
Appreciate you.
See, when I start picking on you, that's when you raise your hand. Oh, my goodness. This table. How many do we have? 3 or 4? Let me see. How many hands? 1, 2. Oh, my God.
3.
Y'all are going to let them do that? Y'all are going to let, that's $15,000 over there. Y'all going to let them do that? Come on now.
There we go. We got another one.
They're
right
the MVP. Oh, that's what I'm talking about back here. The women say not so fast, my man. They say not so fast. Thank you. Thank you for giving. How many?
We have a
10,000 at table 13.
Table 13 stepping up. $10,000 from table 13. Don't be outdone. Well, I'm telling you, this table back here is so quiet. I think like a church mouse back here, you guys are so quiet. Come on now. You got to step up. I don't see any hands moving. Come on, guys. What about this table back here? Come on, guys. At least one person. We can go one person at 5,000. Come on. You can go 2,500. If everybody gave 500, that would be $5,000 at your table. Come on, guys.
Just for some context, especially for medical students, and especially when you hit that first year of residency, one of the biggest barriers to getting all the way through is finances. Like, we don't have family members that we could call and be like, y'all need $5,000 to pay for UWorld and USMLE Step 3. We just don't have it. So this is the difference to be made. That's what this is. We need all of these books and all of these different platforms to learn on so that we know how to treat patients. But the donations you're making is giving us an opportunity to do that. Otherwise, we're at a disadvantage. And no one wants a physician who's at a disadvantage.
We're going to leave you alone at 5,000. We parked out here, but we got to take off. We're going to put it in drive and go to 2,500. How many more at 5,000?
There we go.
How many? Oh, my
Dr.
man.
Wilson.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who else? Who else at 5? I don't want to park out here too long. I really want to move on to 2,500. I really do. But I know how much you want to give at 5,000, so I'm going to leave it for just 30 more seconds. Come on, guys. I know we can have at least one more. If I get one more, oh, there we go.
There we go.
See? This is what happens. Thank you. Thank you for being a blessing. Who else? Over here? That table finally stood up. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Listen, family. So young folks in college right now, and first and second year medical students, have dreamed all of their life of getting to that moment where they could don a long white coat. Unfortunately, many of them gonna struggle all the way through. And you'll see more who fall through, as many of you business people know about the Swiss cheese model. You'll see many of them fall through because there's not enough support. Not because they're not smart enough, because they hella smart. Think about it. They went through all of the structural and institutional racism. They went through all of that and still got into medical school. But they struggling to get to the finish line. They smart enough. They could don the same white coat as everyone else. The difference that's made is NMF. I'm living proof. I am living proof. The difference that is made is NMF. Micheline Davis, Corey Richardson, these folks is really changing lives for medical students. Not as like some cliche, like I'm telling you as somebody who come from the gut. So when you make these donations, you changing real lives for real people. Folks who come from nothing. And the moment they become a physician, everything changes. For my two babies, their life changes because of NMF.
Wow. Wow. Generational change, and we know the issue right now before the U.S. Supreme Court. Affirmative action. It may or may not survive. Another obstacle to keep young black men and young black women from putting on that white coat. And brown people as well. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Sandra Nichols and Ronnie Nichols' $100,000 they have pledged. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't even ask for $100,000. They said, I'm just going to give you $100,000. And Micheline Davis, 100, she says, not to be outdone. I am Madam President, $100,000.
Thank you so much.
The pledge from her as well.
Thank you so much.
Where much is given,
much is required.
Much is expected. And you delivered. Who else at 5,000 before we move on? If I get one more, I promise I'm moving to 2,500. Only if I get one more. I'd love to see that table back there give me one more. Oh, my goodness. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Thank you. Dr. Lede, that's your story. That's making that happen.
Exactly.
All right, 2,500. That's easy money. There you go, 2,500. That's what I'm talking about. That's easy money. 2,500. I saw that in the parking lot. right by that Porsche. I just walked right past it because I think I'm going to hit the Powerball tonight. If I hit the Powerball, I promise I would pledge $100,000. I would. At least that much. I know. After I buy my house on Star Island. Anyway,
We're at 2,500 right now.
2,500. $2,500.
I just want to paint a picture for y'all.
Yes.
Because some folks in the room haven't gone through medical school, but many of us have. When it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you studying your tail off and you decide on whether or not you're going to get a quality, healthy meal to keep your brain working, or you're going to eat ramen noodles that'll put your hypertension at risk, this is the difference. Right? I can either order a salad from DoorDash or I could order some salty fries.
It is one thing to hear the story. It's another thing to see the results. This is the result of your giving right here. He is right here in the flesh. 2,500? Yes. How many you said? 5 over there. My goodness.
There we
5 $2,500 pledges.
And I don't want y'all to forget something. Not every medical student is a single bachelor who's just chilling. Some of us have kids and wives, and we're still trying to become physicians. Not only because of the economic impact it'll have downstream, but because we honestly want to go back to our communities and treat the kids where I'm from. I'm training as a pediatrician and a child psychiatrist. So children's mental health and their overall health is the most important thing to me. That's the story of so many other people from the black and brown community who want to do the exact same thing. Our family is really all we have, but we all broke. So we're going to need the non-broke people to pull up. I'm just keeping it real.
Dr. Lede, we're being told we're given in television. When they give you this, that means we don't have a lot of time. That means we have like a couple of minutes. Yes. How many over here? 2,500? Can we at least reach our goal of 1 million up there? Can we at least cross that finish line? Come on, guys. Help me reach that. I only have a couple of minutes to do it. Someone, please help me step up. Step up, please, and reach that goal of crossing that finish line up there. That's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. We got a pledge of 2,500? 5,000. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
See, she was chilling out. She was in the cut, as we say in my neighborhood. She was in the cut, just waiting.
Thank you so much.
Miss Davis is blowing you kisses, too, by the way. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. We need, just help us get over that goal.
So I
you
can
guys
do a
got to
little
keep
math.
adding those numbers, yes, if you will.
It's about $150,000.
That's not a lot of money. I'm so glad you did the math on that because I didn't do the math.
Right
Can we go at least 1,000? Can we go $1,000 givers? $1,000.
There goes one.
My man, thank you.
Thank you so much.
$1,000. Come on, we can. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, $1,000. Come on, guys.
There goes another.
Yes, I saw 1,000 by the staircase, by the way. Yes, go ahead. 1,000.
There goes another.
You guys were dropping that in the
There goes
bathroom.
another.
Somebody
Thank
dropped
you.
that in the bathroom. Yes, $1,000. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, 1,000 over here.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. How many back here? Yes, absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. So 1,000 is the lucky number. Yes. This table is incredible back here. Thank you very much. All of you guys are wonderful. Unbelievable.
another.
Yes. Don't be outdone. Don't let your table be outdone, guys. This table back here is really incredible too. Which one? Right. Oh, right there. Yes. Yes. Anyone else? Come on, guys. They're giving me the rap symbol. I know. I know how that looks. I see it every day on the news. Yes. I'm getting, yes, my man. How much? Did you say 10,000? Oh, 1,000. Oh, my bad. My math is really bad sometimes. Yes. 2,000 over here. Yeah. See, you guys keep confusing me. See, he said 10. You said 1, right? 1. My man. Okay, my bad. 1,000 over here. 2,000 back there. All right. I'm getting the rap symbol. Hey. Oh, 5,000 over here. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
Final thoughts, Dr. Lede, before they give us. The Sandman comes out and pulls us off the stage here.
Whether you gave $25, 10 cents, or $100,000, I'm not just telling you that this means a lot. Me standing here as an MD, PhD, MBA, who's a training pediatrician and child psychiatrist, is proof that the impact of your giving is real. It is so real. Thank you so much for supporting NMF. Thank you so much for supporting the leadership of NMF, and thank you so much for supporting the future of medicine.
Wow, wow,
Thank
wow.
you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have another pledge over here. $5,000? Oh my gosh. Please keep giving, even though they're going to give us the wrap some. Yes. Oh, yes, yes. The company that is involved with putting this on, the event planner, $1,000.
Thank you so much.
See, the spirit of giving is beginning to move in this place. All right. Any more givers? Any more givers before we have to go? Any more givers going once?
Zach,
going
you got
twice?
one more?
Are you saying you? Oh, you're giving, Jacqueline. Are you giving $1,000?
She's giving
Okay,
$1,000.
awesome. Yes, absolutely. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? I would say I would see you on the news at 4, 5, 6, and 11 o'clock on Monday, but many of you are flying out of town. But if you happen to be in town, I hope you watch. Thank you, Dr. Leday. My pleasure, my brother. It is a pleasure to be on the stage with you, and a distinct honor as well. Isn't he awesome? One more time for Dr. Leday. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the program, and check out the video of a special guest who is going to provide us with a few words.
Thank you all so much.
Let's hear it again for Dr. Leday and Calvin Hughes. Oh, you all can do better than that. Yeah, you can. We want you to keep texting NMF Miami 4144, because tonight is about change and the possibilities lie with us. And now I am pleased to welcome Dr. Brian Baugh, who is Global Medical Affairs Leader for Infectious Diseases and Vaccines at Janssen Pharmaceuticals Company of Johnson & Johnson, an esteemed member of NMF's board to the stage to introduce our next special guest. Please welcome Dr. Brian Baugh.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Vanessa Broadhurst, the Executive Vice President of Global Corporate Affairs at Johnson & Johnson and a member of the Executive Committee. In her role, she leads the corporation's global marketing, communication, design, and philanthropy functions, in addition to providing oversight to J&J Wellness and Health Solutions. Vanessa will accept the NMF Corporate Imagineer Award on behalf of Johnson & Johnson. This award honors corporations whose creative thinking and sustained commitment to health equity have reimagined the way healthcare is delivered and have made significant impact to improve the health and wellness of intentionally marginalized communities. This award recognizes long-standing systems-level intervention and reinvention that have demonstrably improved people's lives. For over 25 years, Johnson & Johnson has supported NMF, funding endeavors such as the Need-Based Scholarship, and most recently, the Diversity in Clinical Trials Research Program and the Alliance for Inclusion in Medicine Scholarship Program. The DCTR program, or the Diversity in Clinical Trials Research Program, helps to increase the diversity of clinical trials participation by providing training, mentorship, networking for emerging clinical researchers and investigators who have come from communities that so often have been excluded from clinical research. Tonight, National Medical Fellowship honors Johnson & Johnson with its NMF Corporate Imagineer Award for their long-standing work and commitment to ending healthcare disparities by bringing clinical trial diversity and achieving health equity. Vanessa couldn't be here this evening, but offers her thanks in these pre-recorded remarks on behalf of Johnson & Johnson.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Broadhurst, Executive Vice President of Global Corporate Affairs at Johnson & Johnson. On behalf of J&J, I'd like to thank the National Medical Fellowships for this honor. Addressing critical racial health disparities is a daunting task, and no one organization or group can do it alone. NMF recognizes the public health threat of systemic racism, and we at Johnson & Johnson imagine a world where who is healthy and who is not, who receives medical interventions and who does not, who is reflected in clinical trials and who is left out, does not come down to the color of a person's skin. To end these immoral and unjust practices requires public and corporate partnerships, working the problem from all sides, such as our partnership with you as we work together to help students of color pursue careers in medical and healthcare professions. These students are the future, and because of them, we can envision treatment that is diverse, equitable, inclusive, and accessible. And we even have the audacity to imagine the return of trust between healthcare providers and their patients in communities of color. J&J and NMF are an unbeatable combination, and we humbly accept your recognition and this award. We are honored. And now I'd like to extend special thanks to your CEO, Micheline Davis, to your chair of the board, Dr. Sandra Nichols, and to all of my colleagues at J&J who make this important work possible. We look forward to continuing this very successful partnership. Thank you.
Some of the barriers, high cost to entry, and ultimately resulting in very high medical student debt that makes this profession so cost prohibitive to so many.
I come from a long family of substance abuse disorders, identify as Hispanic and gay. And so all of those things together lead to a whole list of socioeconomic factors that make it very difficult to get into a system that is oftentimes built for people of privilege.
One barrier I faced going to medical school was obviously my dad passing away from lung cancer, but also another barrier I faced was my mom kicking me out of the house on my 18th birthday, so I had to move in with my sister.
I am a first-generation student, so there are barriers in that structure as well. For instance, being first generation, I did not have close contact or close connection with other doctors, other physicians.
Barriers have ultimately instilled an internal strength that says either I'll find a way or I'll make one. And thanks to organizations like NMF, I can do this with far more confidence.
Learning how to be a medical student is a lot harder than I realized it would be, even knowing that medical school is hard. It takes so much support from the people around you. It takes mentorship and sponsorship, and it takes people telling you the things that you don't know. I consider myself so fortunate to have come across National Medical Fellowships because they showed me the things about medicine that I never thought to ask.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Vivek Murthy, Surgeon General of the United States. It's my honor to congratulate National Medical Fellowships on 75 successful and immeasurably impactful years. Your inaugural gala is a fitting way to celebrate all those who have made that impact possible since 1946. National Medical Fellowships has provided more than $45 million in financial assistance to more than 32,000 Black, Indigenous, and Latino students, as well as other students of color who are underrepresented in medicine. The health workers who have been empowered by National Medical Fellowships are now bringing diverse representation to the medical field and working to eliminate health disparities. Our field is stronger and better able to provide the future of healthcare because of each of you. And days like today and leaders like you are critical to driving change and making progress happen. I'm so proud to support you in doing so. We all enter the healing professions to help and to serve. And that means making health equity a reality. Thank you and congratulations to the National Medical Fellowships. I hope you all enjoy the gala.
Now, please welcome NMF scholar Cesar Lauren-Quent.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cesar Lauren-Quent.
I'm a third-year medical student here in Miami at FIU's Harvard-Whiteheim College of Medicine, and I'm a proud PCLP scholar. Thank you. It is my distinct honor to introduce Carmen Villar, who will accept NMF's Corporate Innovation Award on behalf of Merck & Company. As Vice President of Social Business Innovation at Merck, Ms. Villar oversees the Merck Foundation, the Office of Corporate Responsibility, Merck for Mothers, and Global Population Health, working together to enhance shared values across the company. The NMF Corporate Innovation Award recognizes exceptional organizations whose foresight has driven success in scientific advancements, policy changes, and sustained community partnerships. This award honors efforts to manifest positive societal impact and make lasting contributions to the advancements of health equity for communities harmed by systemic exclusion and disinvestment. Merck has been an NMF partner for over 20 years, currently sponsoring the NMF Diversity in Clinical Trials Research Program. We would like to recognize Merck for their dedication to building a diverse workforce and improve the experience of individuals who are Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Please join me in welcoming Carmen Villar.
Well, thanks to Cesar. Muchísimas gracias for saying my name correctly. I appreciate that. It's great to be with you here tonight. And on behalf of Merck, I just want to say thank you for this important recognition. NMF is an agency organization like no other. And before I continue, I just want to recognize everybody that's making tonight possible. Yes, we've seen the host committee. Yes, we've recognized the board. But I would love for the staff at NMF and Micheline to stand up so we can recognize all of them. Without NMF, we wouldn't be reminded of all the work we need to do, all that we've accomplished, and where we're going in healthcare. Merck is a company that strives to diversify clinical trials, support health equity and health systems that advance that equity. But to be honest, without partners, without public-private partnerships, but without partnerships like NMF, we would not have the heart and soul to do what we need to do to advance health equity. There's a lot more I can say about our partnership, but I do want to accept this award actually in the name of a dear friend, Dr. Don Smith, who I lost recently, who this world lost recently. Don Smith was a family physician, African-American woman, single mother, who put herself through medical school while raising her child. She also worked at CDC, and she did all this great research on post-exposure and pre-exposure prophylaxis for HIV. She died last week of complications due to RSV. She was not only a force to be reckoned with, but she was passionate, dedicated, and committed to advancing health equity. Don, we will miss you, and I accept this on your behalf. Thank you.
Dr. Maya Angelou boldly proclaimed, "When we come to it, we must confess that we are the possible." Our presence here tonight and our support of this critical work confirms that we recognize the power that lies within us. And speaking of power and presence, let's welcome back the tour de force that is Micheline Davis and board chair Dr. Sandra B. Nichols to celebrate the longstanding as well as the new leaders of NMF.
Micheline, you do know it's almost 10 o'clock.
I have to go home.
Me too. So let's move this right along.
You got it.
Okay. NMF is grateful for our board of directors, our past board members, our present board members who have led this organization to new heights over the past 76 years. I can't even imagine of that. I'm not even 25 yet. Can you imagine 56 years more than that?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good. This evening, we want to recognize the achievement of those who now have become our board emeritus. Mr. Neil Ball, who served the organization almost 50 years. Dr. Art Cameron, who was with us right at 32 years. Dr. Stephen Keith, who's here with us, and he's been on the board for 22 years. Dr. Keith, would you please stand? Dr. Darrell Kirsch, right at 7 years, and Dan McCown, who is listening to us on tonight, served 18 years. These were phenomenal leaders who truly, if you look at the number of years of serving, were with National Medical Fellowship when we were around 25 years of age. Let's give them all an applause, please. Now I get the honor of introducing to some and presenting to others our returning board member, and I'm going to ask each of you to stand, please. Dr. Cedric M. Bright, Associate Dean of Medicine, Professor of Internal Medicine, Brody School of Medicine, and he is the 112 National Medical Association President, and he is also a National Medical Fellowship alumnus. Dr. Bright. Larry J. Harrison, Chief Executive Officer of Children's Hospital Los Angeles Medical Group and the Pediatric Management Group. Mr. Harrison is listening to us by phone. Thank you. Attorney Pam T. Miller, President and Chief Executive Officer of Summit Global Strategies, Ltd. You just heard from Carmen. Carmen, please stand up again. Villa, she's the Vice President of Social Business Innovation at Merck and Company. Dr. Calvin Wheeler. Where is Calvin? There he is. NCAF, Medical Director of UME and GMC, NCAF's Community Health Governance and Contribution to Permanente Medical Group, and he is also a National Medical Fellowship alumnus. I'm going to step aside and ask Micheline to introduce our other board members who are also officers.
Thank you. Please join me in congratulating our newly elected board officers. You just heard from her, but behold, the chair of National Medical Fellowships, Dr. Sandra B. Nichols. Dr. Nichols is Senior Vice President of Health and Community Engagement at United Health Group, and she, of course, as you heard earlier, is a proud NMF alumna. Chair-elect Dr. Brian Bao, Global Medical Affairs Leader, Infectious Diseases and Vaccines, Johnson Pharmaceutical Companies of Johnson & Johnson. Ms. Jennifer Schlenner, please, Chief of Staff, Association of American Medical Colleges. Our new treasurer, Dr. Efrain Telemantes, Chief Operating Officer, Ultimate Health Services Corporation, and an NMF alum. We are also delighted to welcome a brand new slate of board members to this already impressive list of leaders. We are truly grateful that you are coming on board to help accelerate all of NMF's all-important work. Will you too please stand? Mr. Kweku Owoti, Chair of the United Bank for Africa, Ghana. Dr. Gary C. Butts, who is also an NMF alum, is Executive Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Mount Sinai Health System, who is watching virtually. The Honorable John S. Corzine, Chief Executive Officer and Chief Investment Officer of the JDC-JSC Opportunity Fund. Former U.S. Senator, former Governor of the great state of New Jersey, and he just happens to also be the former CEO of some little company called Goldman Sachs. Ms. Ann Evans Estabrook, owner and chairman, Elberon Development Group, and chairman, David O. Evans Incorporated, watching us virtually. Ms. Aisha Glover, Vice President, Urban Innovation, Global Center for Urban Development, Audible. Miguel Alexander Pozo, Esquire, partner of the law firm of Cozen O'Connor and the former president of the Hispanic National Bar Association. Ms. Rakia Reynolds, founder and executive officer of Sky Blue Media and one of Forbes' Next 1000. I am also excited to be able to announce the establishment of the NMF Global Advisory Council. This council will provide a global perspective in the advancement of our mission while advancing global's approach to health equity in service of NMF's efforts across our strategic pillars and around the world. Rosalind Kinyea, founder and managing director, Kina Advisory, watching virtually from Ghana and the UK. Once again, Mr. Kweku Owoti. Dr. Linda Decker, Chief Healthcare Officer and Chief Executive Officer, Healthcare Federation of Ghana. Dr. Ronaldo Ortez Minaya, Professor of Sociology, Fulbright Scholar, Howard University. Dr. Justice Yankson, MBA Esquire, Vice President, Ghana Medical Association. And we have a newly structured Alumni Alliance led by Dr. Amandi Nyong'o as President and Young Leaders Council led by Dr. Tanya Gunnell as President of the YLC. Dr. Nyong'o, please stand. Each of these leaders, those who blazed the path over the course of our history, those presently already helping to lead us on our journey, and those who are joining us now, are helping us to magnify the impact of NMF. It is time for NMF to be a hidden figure no more. We shall now be absolutely, please. We are a national organization with a global footprint. We are here not just to change the experience of patient care, but to literally alter the course of the world to achieve a more equitable future. We are delighted that you are here and able to join us for tonight.
Reimagining health to me means that we will have a diversity of experiences and perspectives in healthcare that allow patients to really form a relationship and an interaction that is actually meaningful to them.
Reimagining health to me means bringing equality and, more importantly, equity into healthcare.
Recognizing that health is an objective metric of justice
Reimagining Health is coming together to outnumber problems with prompt, bold, long-lasting solutions.
We are really seeing so many different creative ways that we can improve access to people. I'm thinking about the different settings that we're delivering telehealth, either via a direct video visit or even on the phone. I think it's really just making healthcare better.
To reimagine health is definitely to be very progressive and open-minded about the possibilities and just more effective ways of delivering care to everyone equally, the rich, poor, everyone equally.
We have a wonderful opportunity to spend just a little bit more time with each patient and to be empathetic and trying to make sure we're really addressing health literacy concerns, making sure people understand the principles of why they have the condition they have, what it is, why medicine and lifestyle changes are important. And we have the opportunity to affect all of this, one person at a time, one family at a time, one neighborhood at a time, one community at a time, one state at a time, and nationally.
And now, it is our distinct pleasure to announce our newest and highest honor. Let's go to the videotape for this epic moment in the history of NMF.
It's my joy to join National Medical Fellowships as you honor and celebrate my good girlfriend and one of the most giving and committed people that I know, Dr. Sandra Bruce Nichols.
There are so many things that I could say about the Honorable Sandra B. Nichols, or as we call her at NMF, affectionately, Madam Chair. Madam Chair has given of her time, her talent, and her resources to NMF, not merely because she is the chair of the board, but also because she is an alumna.
She is a wonderful, outstanding example, an African-American physician who's taking on roles beyond just patient care, but in terms of being an outstanding public health leader in her home state of Arkansas. She's just an amazing woman, and I feel very fortunate to have worked with her.
Sandra's faith and fortitude is humbling to watch, especially given the leadership challenges through which she has passionately prevailed.
You're leaving a legacy, and you're helping lay a foundation of exceptional opportunities for underrepresented minority students, not just in the field of medicine, but in healthcare professions broadly. And this will stand for generations to come.
Dr. Nichols, it has been my highest honor to learn from you, to walk alongside you, but to walk on the path that you have paved by the legacy that you have led.
When she talks about the National Medical Fellowship, you know she is driven and wants students that would like to be physicians to have every opportunity to do so.
Sandra is an impressive example of genuine love for family and others. She had always cared, like our mom, about education.
Thank you for all that you have done, yes, but for all that you are. To National Medical Fellowships, to the communities at large, to the entire nation for what you do at UHG, and to me.
We love you, Sandra, and congratulations for another well-done job.
Congratulations, Sandra. You're doing a great job, and I look forward to continuing your work.
National Medical Fellowship, thank you for honoring our sister, and congratulations, Sandra, from your entire family. We love you.
Sandra, kudos and congrats for being the first recipient of the Dr. Sandra Bruce Nichols Vanguard Award. You are just that, a vanguard at the forefront of excellence and a trailblazer in your field. Well done, sis. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to announce the inaugural NMF Dr. Sandra B. Nichols Vanguard Award. This is the organization's highest award and honors Dr. Nichols, alumna and chair of the board. Her determination to achieve health equity and her enduring generosity The award recognizes individuals and organizations who have achieved outstanding distinction in their life's work in healthcare through their stalwart commitment to improving the health and lives of intentionally marginalized communities. Dr. Nichols, you got up here a little bit too fast. I have one more surprise for you. I'm so sorry. Babette, would you please bring out my surprise? Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nichols has been surprised by the presence of her daughter and her niece, who have phoned in especially to be in cahoots with me tonight. I give you Marquise Nichols.
Oops, sorry, I'm trying to find my page. Oops. I'm just.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops. While this story is very dramatic, it is just the tip of the iceberg. From her day-to-day leadership of NMF's board of directors to her extraordinary generosity as a donor with her husband, my father, Ronnie, to her being an amazing mom, and in fact, NMF's largest individual donor. She is the organization's North Star. I am delighted to be able to bestow this inaugural Vanguard Award upon none other than my mom, the chair of the NMF Board of Directors, Dr. Sandra B. Nichols.
You lied to me. I'm going to ask my husband and my sister and niece to join us, please. Wow. You got me, Micheline.
Yes.
You really did. You know, NMF has always meant the world to me. It specifically became one of my North Star when I died at my home in 2019 of a massive heart attack. My daughter was there and resuscitated and did all she could do and called the local emergency team, who said that once they got to the hospital, my husband and daughter said that if she lives for the next 24 hours, she will be brain dead because of the time that she was out. I was transferred from a local hospital to Johns Hopkins, where I awakened a few days later, screaming at my daughter for my telephone. I needed my phone because I needed to go to work. I hadn't called my administrative assistant to tell her I wasn't going to be there. I had missed a meeting with the CEO of Johns Hopkins, and the team was probably looking for me. It became so ugly that the nurse said, just give her her phone. Talking about work-life balance. I received a transplant within 30 days because, and this has nothing to do with Dr. Rice, but the OB came in to do an exam on the bed, and I ended up getting a blood clot, Dr. Rice. With that blood clot, I moved from being on the list to getting a VAC to being on the top of the list to get a heart transplant. And within 30 days of being admitted to the hospital, I had a 22-year-old donating a heart to me. I always say that I died 3 times because once I was resuscitated the first time, that second death is when they take your heart out. right? A week later, I went back in for an assessment of the heart, and they noted that I had cardiac tamponade. For those in the audience who don't know what that means, it meant that there was blood collecting around that heart. And they were not as kind to me the second time around in surgery were the first time. They grabbed me, they threw me like a slab of meat on the table, put the oxygen on me, and immediately opened my chest for a second time. And by the way, I didn't tell you, I have a habit of the last thing I do as I walk out of the house is recurl my curled hair. You know what we mean? So I fell on my curling iron and I had a 6-inch third-degree burn on my left hip. So when I arrived at Johns Hopkins, they did not know how to put me in the burn unit or to put me in the cardiac heart unit. After the opening of my chest the second time, all I kept saying to myself is, God, you left me here for a reason. God, there must be something you want me to do. And I began to push as hard as I could to get out of the hospital and to begin to figure out what that reason was. In that push, I became so depressed, I kept wondering why I was even left here on this earth. But that was when some challenges for NMF presented itself. I got to work with some remarkable board members, executive committee, and many of the board members that you see standing up today to really begin to say, is NMF going to deteriorate on our watch? And by the way, you all, this is my 3rd year out. So the mental, the physical scars are still there. The weakness is still there. They're really dealing with life as it is today versus where it was prior to this incident is still there. But NMF, the board of directors, gave me a new chance on life. They allowed me to really begin to dig into what we were doing and how we had been working with NMF and what we could do better. And we pushed very hard during the times where our entire staff pretty well turned over. And then we got that magnificent, brilliant, gorgeous, dynamite sister standing behind me. And as you can see, the organization is well on its way to giving back to those that need. We heard Dr. Lede, but there's so many more like him. I'm a product of the project myself. There's so many more like Dr. Lede who don't know which way's up. And I have to tell you, this has been a new journey for me. There have been good days and bad days over the last 3 years, but to God be the glory. I stand before you today. I am absolutely shocked. I want to thank Ms. Sherling and the board of directors and to each of you for honoring me, but it's not about Sandra Nichols. It's never been about Sandra Nichols. It never will be about Sandra Nichols. It's what each one of us can do with just that little donation that each of us have. You know, most of us go to church. What do they tell you to give that 10%? And guess what? Many of you give it, right? And you don't even know where it's going. I promise you, you will know what the monies that are being donated in NMF. So it is my honor, it is my privilege, it is my pleasure to not only be here tonight, but I want to dedicate this award to the students of tomorrow of NMF and those that come behind us that will lead this country and this world into our next generation of the lack of health equity, particularly in health care. God bless you. Thank you so very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award that Dr. Nichols is receiving on tonight is a custom rendition by the incredible, incomparable Leroy Campbell entitled Repairing the Damage. It is entitled Repairing the Damage because Dr. Nichols has dedicated her life to doing just that. Repairing the damage to those who were in our communities, repairing the damage inside of NMF from long ago of benign neglect, repairing the damage even in your own life by not giving up the fight. You humble us by your exemplary leadership, and you are truly our vanguard. So I also want to thank the Nichols family because I will tell you, we spend entirely too much time on the phone and we bother her all the time. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to that portion of the evening, evening that does not mean that you get up and go home. This is the portion of the evening where you get to utilize this tiny little dance floor that's in front of us. Do not leave it bare. And the reason why we want to make certain that you kick up your heels is because on tonight, I have just been informed that we raised $962,000. And I've just been informed that the Nichols family is going to bestow upon us the additional $40,000 to hit our goal of $1 million. Thank you, Mr. Ronnie. Thank you, Dr. Nichols. We so appreciate you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we tried to tell you earlier that this NMF is a new NMF, that today is a new day. And so we want to make certain that you feel like you're part of the celebration of this new aspect and activity, of the fact that, yes, we are going to be health equity warriors, but we are going to make certain that along this hard path that we're going to kick up our heels and have some fun. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you on the dance floor.